Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab, the place of everything related to Amazon, FBA, and e-commerce in general. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring you another special guest. Her name is Tatheer Fatima, and she's a professional Amazon specialist when it comes to helping you with keyword research, PPC, copywriting, and launching products on Amazon. So, because of her experience specifically around the PPC area, today we're going to be talking around some of the strategies that she uses and how basically she optimizes the campaigns for her clients. Okay, so welcome Tatir. Thank you for being here. How you doing today?
Hey everyone, hey Vince. It's so great to be here, and I'm so excited to just talk about what I do best.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. I think I have seen the work you put out there in social media and anything that you've been sharing lately. So I think it was great to bring you on board and just share a bit about your journey and what you do in general, right?
Thank you.
Great. So yeah, let's start by talking about a bit about your background. So if you want, you can briefly touch around how you got started into the e-commerce space, and then from there we can for sure jump into today's topic, which is talking around PPC. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I have been in this Amazon space for the last 4 to 5 years now, and I help brands grow to their full potential. And being an Amazon marketing and brand consultant, my main job is to help people with their advertising and optimizing their store so well that they are able to make really good sales and they come off as a brand, not just selling a product, but emerging as a brand and succeeding as a brand. Because nowadays, it's not just about one or two products. People or the brand owners who are successful, they're only because of their mindset and approach of growing as a brand. So that is what I do best, and that's what I emphasize on nowadays.
Yeah, that's great. I think for sure branding is number one priority nowadays. I mean, we all know that the days of just selling a generic product and doing very little work and just make some money out of it are kind of over. So for sure now when it comes to Amazon, we need to think about the whole ecosystem in terms of bringing up a whole brand, in terms of creating the whole strategy and being smart for sure when it comes to launching on Amazon. I mean, we know that one of the big things when it comes to launching a product on Amazon is PPC, and I think that's something that for sure we're going to be talking a lot today. So I think one of the first questions, so we can start for sure the ground when it comes to discussion to PPC is that when you work right now in PPC with your clients, what is usually the methods are you currently implementing when it comes to researching the right keywords for your clients and the products that they sell on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, the first thing that I do while doing pay per click ads for any of my clients is to basically know what the market's like and what their listing is like. I focus on running ads that are fully optimized and that actually bring in conversions. So, not just for pay per click ads, but any ads in general. The main psychology behind running ads is to get as many eyes on your product as possible, right? So the main thing of running good or successful PPC ads is that your product or your end product, your brand, it should be fully optimized, and it should be optimized in such a manner that people want to buy your product, right? So for that, the first step I do is that I optimize the listing, and there are 3 or 4 steps that I follow. The first step is to know your market and see how your top competitors are doing. For that, I do a competitor analysis kind of thing where I
Yeah.
analyze top competitors and I see what kind of optimizations do they have done to their store, what kind of images do they have, what's the listing like, their I also check their sponsored ads data, like how many keywords are they ranked on, and stuff like that. It's pretty detailed. Once I have a good idea of what's working, I go on and do keyword research as well. So once I have a good idea of what's working in the market and what's doing good, and I have the keywords as well, I combine those keywords and that comparative research that I've done, and then I write an optimized listing because now I have the power of SEO. That's the keywords. Because on
Yeah.
Amazon, it's almost the games of keywords
Yeah.
because that is what will get you ranked, right? But the
Yeah.
second most important thing is that your listing is written in a buyer centric kind of manner. It shouldn't be just about your product, what it does, and everything. It should be written in a way that conveys that how that product can be helpful or how that product can be useful. So this is how I optimize the listing. Once I am sure that the listing or the end product is really good, it's engaging, it's gonna sell, then I go for running pay-per-click ads.
That's great. Yeah, I think you said it right. I think the fact that you mentioned listing optimization is the number one thing is super important. I mean, I see every day people coming to us and asking for advice, and whenever they launch PPC campaigns, they think is that they can fix everything with PPC, but the reality is
Yeah.
that PPC is just a tool to enhance basically the performance that you can achieve in Amazon, right? So if your list is not well optimized, if your that means your conversions are gonna be through the floors, that's gonna make your PPC be not performant, and then everything's gonna basically not work, right? So for sure, listing optimization is number one. So now let's say you have a listing fully optimized and you have everything ready to go when it comes to the listing itself. Usually, let's say a product that has no history, has no campaigns at all when it comes to PPC. What is usually the structure you have to use with a new product when it comes to entering a market and helping them position on a specific keyword and niche?
Okay, so the first thing that I do while setting up PPC campaigns for a new product that hasn't run any pay-per-click campaigns, the first thing I normally like to do is run automatic campaigns and a little bit of manual campaigns as well. Like basically start with sponsored product ads because I need to know what kind of keywords are working for us and what are the things that are going to work for us. So basically I start with sponsored product ads and I see the results, and once I have good results and I have some working keywords that are actually showing up and people are clicking on them, it means that these are the keywords that are important. So I go on and make manual campaigns around those keywords. So I like to start from bottoms up. I don't basically go with the concept of running aggressive pay per click before you don't before you're not aware of your market or the kind of keywords or the campaigns that are working for you.
I see. So you basically try to give the opportunity to Amazon to research the best keywords from you, and based on the data, use those to convert them into manual campaigns, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Great. So let's say you launch the initial campaigns, you have them running. Usually, what time frame do you give these campaigns to run and to produce data before you jump in and then start making changes in terms of the strategy or optimizing these initial campaigns? Let's say for a person that just launched these campaigns for the first time.
Okay, I usually like to give it around 2 to 3 weeks
Yeah.
because that is a good amount of time to get results from the initial campaigns. Since it's very new, it's kind of a starting point for that new account or new brand. So it's important to give it some time because if you just keep meddling with the campaigns every 1 or 2 days, it's not gonna work for you. So you have to give it some time.
Good, great. So yeah, that's very true. I mean, we see a lot also people when it comes to PPC that they think that if they keep editing and changing their campaigns every day, that's gonna make it better. But the reality is that you end up playing on a loop of just playing around and guessing, right? So for sure, you need to wait until the data is mature to make sure you get a good decision when it comes to optimizing your campaigns. Good. Now, let's say the campaigns already become mature and they start evolving. At which stage of the person launching their PPC campaigns you will start thinking to bring to the table things such as, for example, sponsor brands, a sponsor display? Is that something that you use at all in your equation? And if you do, how you usually use them?
Okay, so after my sponsored products ads are working well, I do like to include sponsored brand and sponsored display ads. I normally start with sponsored brands after sponsored product ads because I basically feel that uh, for this is like a second step in growing your pay-per-click campaigns, and it really works well. So I start with sponsored brands ad, and as you know, you have to have brand registry for that. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to check if we have a lot of if we have a big product line, then I like to choose the sponsored brand ads that are directed to the store. That is also known as a store highlight. But if we don't have like a big product line, maybe like two or three or four, five products, then I go for that product store kind of thing uh, where a person, whenever they click on it, they are directed to those products.
Okay, that's great. So basically, what you would advise is that once you validate some terms and keywords on the product targeting campaigns, you could use that data to basically kickstart your sponsor brand campaigns, right? With the validated data. Correct. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you have you sponsor products, sponsor brands, sponsor displays. Then the typical question I bet you always get this question is how you decide which bits to use on each specific keyword, right? So I like to ask this question because different people have different strategies in terms of how you define bits. So I would like to ask you, what is usually the method and the way you go about in terms of defining a bit for a specific keyword?
Okay, so I don't use like a single strategy when it comes to choose the bids.
Mm,
It's actually dynamic for me because some of the keywords they have like really high bids, and then there are some, if you like if you invest in a long tail keyword, then the bid usually gets a bit lowered. So I like to test with this. I don't just go with one thing here. I think
that's
it's
good.
more dependent on the type of products, your
Yeah.
market, and the competition that you have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Good. Now that we're already talking about bids, I think is good that we can also bring to the conversation what we call placements, right? So we know that placement
Yeah.
plays a key role when it comes to PPC optimization, because if you start analyzing your reports, you may find that certain keywords perform better at top of the placement compared to the rest of the search or product pages, right? So my question here is, when you're optimizing and working on PPC campaigns, how you analyze this data and how you use it to design and keep optimizing your PPC campaigns. Yeah.
Okay, so for the placements, normally it's much better when you give more budget to this top of search placement, because that is where people look first.
Yeah.
But for some of the products, I have seen that the product page placement has worked much better than the top of search. So again, I like to see, and I like to test before I just go forward with things. So basically, I believe that whenever you set up PPC or whenever you're optimizing pay-per-click campaigns, it's very relevant. It's not just a specific set of rules that work for everything or every product or every category. There are some, but then again, you have to if you've been working in a specific kind of category for a long time, you'll know much better. But apart from that, I like to do a bit of A/B testing first, and then I go on with a full blown strategy.
Okay. Good. Okay, that's great. Yeah, great advice on that. So, okay, so I think we mentioned the bits, we mentioned the placement. Now, the next question I also get a lot, and I bet you do as well, is the negative keywords. So, when it comes to negative
Yeah.
keywords, I'm pretty sure you have seen in social media, LinkedIn, and so on. Some people say use it, some people say don't use it. So, I want to take your take on this and what do you think about them and how you use them if you use them. Yeah, what is basically your opinion on negative keywords when it comes to PPC?
Okay, when it comes to negative keywords, I think it's really important because it saves up a lot of your budget. Most of my clients who are running pay per clicks for a long time, they almost miss this point out, and some of those who are using it, they use it in a wrong way. For instance, just recently one of my clients, she came to me for getting her PPC optimized, and I saw that she had added really relevant keywords in the negative list. So this has been really bad for her budget because she was investing on all wrong keywords, and the relevant ones, they were added as negatives. So I
I see.
had to go through all the list. So what happens when you do a negative uh, targeting, or you add it in a negative kind of place? It basically uh, doesn't let your it's actually a keyword that is not negative, and Amazon doesn't let your ad go through on that keyword. So I think it's really important that whenever you're handling that kind of thing, you should check what kind of keyword are you adding in there. Is it relevant or is it not? And even if you think it's not relevant, you should really check the click to impressions ratio. Sometimes there are a lot of there are keywords that we think are relevant, but they are just resulting in additional clicks and they are not converting at all. So these are also the kind of keywords that you should add it to the negative one.
I see. That's great. And when it comes to using negative keywords, have you found that it's for you sometimes better to just lower the bid, or you usually, if a keyword is not profitable, you always negate it and that's it? What do you usually prefer to do?
Okay, as I said before, I like to give some time and some
Okay,
chance to the campaigns and
that's good.
even the keywords. So I do test it by reducing the budgets, or maybe like give it a little bit more time
Yeah,
because maybe it has clicks and it has impressions. So and this kind of negating a keyword, this kind of thing is very close to what a relevant keyword looks like. So you have to be really careful and you have to give it a bit of time and do a bit of testing before you add it into the negative one.
yeah. Well said. Well said. Good, good. That's great. So now I think another thing I wanted to talk with you now that I know you have experience with PPC and you have seen multiple accounts. I'm pretty sure you have encountered this issue. Is that we have seen a lot of times that sometimes we launch a campaign with keywords, but it doesn't get any impressions at all, right? It doesn't get any activity, right? So I'm pretty sure you have seen that thing happening to you. And my question to you is usually when you see that happening, what is usually your first reaction when it comes to trying to troubleshoot that within the client's account? Yeah.
Okay, for this kind of thing, normally uh, just seeing the basic view. If you're not getting impressions, it means that the keyword that people are searching for, it's not maybe related to your
Mm,
ad, or maybe the ad creative is not good. Maybe it's not just relevant to your product, or maybe the ad creative that you're using is not good enough that people
mm,
want to click on it. So this is also one thing, and yeah, I think it's mostly related to the type of product you have, and if it's relevant or not, because otherwise there are a lot of impressions and there are a lot of clicks when you run pay per click campaigns.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Good. I think now my other question start coming toward the software side of things. We all know that there is a lot of tools when it comes to managing and optimizing PPC campaigns. And I wanted to ask you if what is your first of all, what is your take on that? If you advise maybe people to combine software with human optimization, and if you do, what is usually the best approach of maybe combining the software side of things with having for sure a person that can keep taking care of your PPC campaigns, which is a question I usually get on a daily basis. That's why I think it's an interesting question to cover today. Yeah.
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, the question is, what is your take of using software to also optimize your PPC campaigns in correlation with also having the human interaction on it? Yeah.
Okay, I don't rely entirely on tools. I do use a few tools, but I mostly rely uh, on my experience, because the more you read into keywords, the more you know what kind of things are going wrong and what kind of keywords will work. I also use sometimes brand analytics data, and just to get the good search terms out. And it's like a whole approach. It's not
Yeah.
just one thing, maybe like a one tool or anything.
That's great. Yeah, well said. Well said. Great. So, yeah, is there anything else you think we didn't cover today when it comes to PPC that you feel our audience can find value? Maybe a strategy you want to share, a tip, anything that you think is going to be beneficial for everybody watching this today?
Okay, I would just like to answer one of the most common questions asked by my clients when they come to me for managing or running their pay-per-click campaigns.
Hmm.
Normally, whenever I tell them about the budgets or the daily budgets, they are horrified.
Yeah.
Uh, because they think that all of it will be spent in one day. But this is just like the peak, or the end point. It's just a budget that you allow to campaign. So I just want to say that it's not just it's the budget that you give for a campaign. It doesn't get spent all, unless you're like managing your campaigns really well.
Yeah.
So people should not get afraid that they'll be spending maybe $100 per day. I
Yeah.
have been managing campaigns for quite a while, and I really like to start with lower budgets, because it's just more mentally easing for clients when I start with lower
Yeah.
budgets. But I do tend to increase it after a while. But even then, it doesn't get spent. For instance, in my just my recent pay-per-click campaigns that I made for a client about a month ago, we have daily budgets of like 100 pounds per. It's a UK client, 100 pounds
Mm.
per day, and till now we started from 9th March, and till now it's more than two months now, and we've just spent a total of 400 pounds, and I've generated sales for more than 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So this is how it works. I mean, it doesn't get spent all in a day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's a good tip, and I also think that it's important to mention the PPC at the end of the day is an investment, right? Is I always bring this example to the table. It's like right now, if you want to open a restaurant, a shop, or a physical business, you need to pay upfront the business itself, the construction inside, the furniture, the publicity. PPC is the same. You're basically playing to get the eyeballs on your product, to get the snowball effect of the sales going, and then to position your product so in the long term you can keep generating sales consistently and you can scale your business faster, right? So it's all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So yeah, thank you very much for being here. I mean, it's a pleasure to have you. We talked so much today when it comes to PPC, and you share so many strategies. So thank you for being here. For all the people is right now listening to you and watching the show, can you please share with us how people can reach out to you, how they can get in contact if they want to receive some kind of support when it comes to PPC or anything that has to do with Amazon?
Yeah, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be here and talk about pay per click and the most common questions that people have. And yeah, you can reach out to me through my Facebook channel or through my Upwork or my Calendly. I can share the link for those, so you guys can reach out to me. And I'm also offering 30-minute free consults nowadays. So I can drop a link to my Calendly. You can schedule and reach out to me anytime.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Tati. I appreciate it. And definitely let's keep in touch. Let's have you on the next one to keep discussing things Amazon related. Okay? Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure.
Bye bye.